Bam! My peoples. My peoples. I already know what it is, man. I'm Jay Smith. This is Box China. This is your favorite boxer's favorite boxing show. We back on live. We back. We back in the building. And this time around, we done with Jake Paul and Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. Made our predictions. Most people feel like Jake Paul's gonna win this fight, but there's some out there who do believe Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. is gonna pull it off. Let's see how that plays out. Moving on, my peoples. Terence Crawford, Canelo Alvarez. The magic question: is this the biggest fight in boxing? Let's talk about it, man. Y'all know what it is. I'm Jay Smith. This is Boxana. This is your favorite boxer's favorite boxing show. Let's get it. Let's get it, my peoples. It's time to get it in. Um, the simple answer is yes. Yes. Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford is without a shred of doubt the biggest fight in boxing. There's no getting around it. You have to take all the factors into consideration. We're talking about for all the marbles is for undisputed, two pound for pound fighters, two fighters who have both, conquered multiple divisions. And now you see what it is. Canelo Alvarez been undisputed in two different divisions. Terence Crawford been undisputed in two different divisions. So we got a fighter who is gonna be moving up two divisions. Everybody's making a big fuss about that, but I think those who are putting a lot of weight on the weight, they're gonna be disappointed when it's time to fight, because or they should have already seen what's going on. Terence Crawford is not a small dude. Should have already seen it, my peoples. They faced off twice already. If you did not notice that Canelo is not big in front of Crawford, if you did not notice it by now, you don't want to notice it. You don't want to know. So if you look at them face to face and you see that they look about the same size, do you really believe that the weight, the weight class is going to be that much of a factor? Because people describe it as if Terence Crawford is 5 feet tall and Canelo Alvarez is 6'5". This giant against this little guy. And then you see them go face to face and they look about the same size. For the people who, if you're drilling on that, oh, the weight is weight class for a reason and Canelo's so big. Meanwhile, just a few weeks ago, Crawford was weighing 185 pounds while Canelo was weighing 168 for his fight with William Skull. So basically, when Canelo was fighting Skull, Crawford was outweighing him by almost 20 pounds. Almost 20 pounds heavier than Canelo. And you have to understand, because that's what I tell people. When you're an athlete, Terence Crawford didn't gain fat. You don't see him with a little fat belly, with a little big gut or nothing like that. He gained muscle. He bulked up. That's what he did. So at 185, he looked jacked. Jacked, my people. The nobody but Jay Smith. You don't think there are weight classes for a reason? No, I'm not saying that there's not weight classes for a reason. There's a reason for weight classes. But that comment does not apply to this fight if you really understand what it means. I'm going to explain to you. The logic behind that comment, right, is that much bigger fighters should not fight small guys. That is correct. There are weight classes for a reason. That's why you will never see a lightweight get in there with a heavyweight. But if me and you are within a couple of weight classes and we're about the same size, weight classes for a reason doesn't apply. We're standing right in front of each other and we're right about the same size. Weight classes for a reason does not apply to this fight. People want to apply it because they feel like it applies to every fight where somebody's moving up, but it doesn't. It doesn't. Canelo, this is what you got to take into account. And let me clarify why the weight classes for a reason doesn't apply to this fight. People keep forgetting that Canelo is a guy who started his career at welterweight and first became a champion in the 154 division. Canelo moved up to 168, but he's a small 168 pounder. Look, it's funny, the same thing that I've been explaining to y'all is what Crawford said too. That he's able to move up and fight Canelo because they're about the same size. But he's not going to fight Benvidez, who's like 6 feet tall, because Benvidez is just too big. It'd be stupid for him to try to fight Benvidez. I've said those same words to people who try to, the Crawford haters, like Hash Bash, who was like, yeah, he got to fight Benvidez. Nah, what are you talking about, B? Benvidez is a giant in front of Crawford. He's a giant, you see? But Canelo is a small 168 pounder. Every fighter Canelo faced in that division was bigger than him. It was all bigger than him. I will compare Canelo at 168 to Manny Pacquiao at 147. Manny Pacquiao was able to win titles and accomplish at the welterweight division. But he did that off of his talent. But he's a small dude at that division. Everybody Pac-Man faced at welterweight was big in front of him. He just had them skills to get it done. So, you know, when it comes to Canelo Alvarez, he's a small 168 pounder. He's not a big guy. So that's why Crawford is able to move up and fight him. Weight classes for a reason don't apply to this fight. The only thing that people focus is 3 weight classes, is 2 weight classes, is 2 weight classes. Oh, 2 whole weight classes. But you're not looking at the facts. You're not considering the fact that Canelo's a smaller guy. You're not looking at the fact that Crawford is taller than Canelo and has more reach than him as well. So Crawford has physical advantages over him. You got to take all that into consideration. Not just, oh, he's moving up, so that's it. He's too small and the guy's too big. Then you see them standing in front of each other. Does Canelo look huge in front of Crawford? Let's be honest, he does not. We've seen him go face-to-face twice already. We know he's not big in front of Crawford. Mr. Joint, ya duérmase, güey. Está bien, Mr. Way, dale para allá, hermanito mío. The nobody, yeah, I feel you. If there's anybody who can pull it off, it's Crawford. Jose Cole, is that why it's so far away, hate? When that happens? I don't know what you mean by that, my brother. Is that why it's so far away? Hate when that happens. I don't know what you mean by far away, my brother. Double O, Mr. Ninja. Hello, my brother. What's the deal, Mr. Ninja? The nobody. Canelo was still able to drop 200-pound Edgar Berlanga. Punisher. True. But as soon as Bud loses, they will say it's 3 weight classes. It's 2 weight classes. You're going to be disappointed when Crawford beat Canelo ass. And the nobody, when you talk about the 200 pounds, you're in reality, you're feeding into what I've been saying. Nobody really believes that Canelo got more skills than Crawford or that he can outbox Crawford. So all you guys keep clinging on to is 3 weight classes. He's a lot bigger. He's a lot stronger. He can knock somebody out. So that doesn't mean anything. That strength that you talking about that he dropped Berlanga with, it ain't do nothing to 147-pound Floyd Mayweather. So, look, it ain't do nothing to Floyd Mayweather. It ain't do nothing to Bivol. So, come on now. That's that fight. Y'all gotta stop bringing other fights to try to make a point about what you think is gonna happen in this fight. Come on now. We don't need to explain the triangle theory. We all understand it. I hope so. The nobody. Do you remember when Kell Brook moved up to fight Triple G? Damn, I just finished saying don't bring up other fights to compare to this one. I don't understand why y'all don't understand that, bro. That's that's some casual boxing fan shit right there. When you bring up, yo, when Triple G fought Kell Brook, what are we talking about? Triple G's not fighting and Kell Brook is not fighting. It's Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez. What happened with that fight has absolutely nothing to do with what's going to happen to this one. I'm not telling you, do you remember what happened when Canelo fought Floyd? Do you remember what happened when Canelo fought Bivol? Got his ass waxed. That don't got nothing to do because Crawford is not those fighters. Crawford is his own fighter with his own style and is going to present his own challenges. So stop using the casual fan technique of bringing up other fights where nobody here is even involved to try to make a point. Oh, yeah, you remember when these two other guys fought? That got nothing to do with Crawford and Canelo, boy. It's their situation. So I say, nah, man. That doesn't work, bro. I know in your head that logic might make sense, but that don't make no sense whatsoever, my guy. That's absolutely nothing to do with this fight and what's going to play out here. Jose Cole. Oh, I'm talking about it's always in September. Why so long? I mean, that's it. If you think about it, we only a few months away. I've been asking for that fight. Listen, last year, you can look it up in this channel, my brother. I posted a video saying that Canelo and Crawford should fight. And people were laughing at me. People, that argument right there. Oh, this weight class for a reason. You don't know shit about boxing. But I told you, if you really understand boxing, then you know that weight classes for a reason doesn't apply in every case. It doesn't. Just because you're moving up, you don't bring weight classes for a reason. And if you didn't see it when Canelo and Crawford go face to face, they already done it twice. If you didn't see that Canelo's not big in front of Crawford like you thought he was gonna be, wait till they do the weigh-in. Wait till we get to September and they both make 168. They both step on the scale and then they face each other off. The people that thought Canelo was going to be huge in front of Crawford, they're going to shit themselves. They're going to shit themselves. Oh, shit. What happened? Why Canelo don't look so big like we've been saying this whole time? Canelo's going to let you down. He's going to look small in front of Crawford. Not small, but he's going to look just like Crawford. He's not going to look big at all. At all. The Nobody 92. But you just brought up Floyd versus Canelo. But the point is, my brother, Floyd fought Canelo. How you bringing up people that's not even involved in this fight? How you bringing up Triple G? Yo, you bringing up retired fighters, bro. Triple G and Kell Brook? What? What are we talking about? Floyd Mayweather fought Canelo Alvarez and beat him. We're talking about somebody who's going to be involved in this very fight that we're talking about. So Floyd is relevant because he whooped that ass. So when you bring up power and you're like, oh, he don't got the power to stop Canelo, Floyd didn't have the power to stop him either. Bivol didn't have the power to stop him either. It's relevant to bring that up to explain to you that you don't need power to beat Canelo. You just need to outbox him. While y'all clinging on to power and Wade and he's strong and look, he dropped Berlanga. There's people who outboxed him. And they was not power punchers. In both of those fights, if you watch them, there was never a moment where Floyd was hurt. There was never a moment where Floyd got hit with a shot and he got wobbled, or you're like, oh my God, he might get knocked out. Nothing. He just got outboxed. That's it, both of those times. So it's relevant to bring that up when you think that his power is all that matters and is all that's going to make a difference. Did you not see him get outboxed twice already? But go ahead, my peoples. Cling on to the power and cling on to the weight. But y'all already saw Canelo get outboxed twice. That's all I could tell you. I mean, if you don't want to accept that, you're gonna have to accept it on September 13th. And then I'll have to just say I told you so. The nobody. Nah, I feel you, bro. I actually got butt beating Canelo. I got him winning that fight. By unanimous decision, by the way. Punisher. You say it like it assured Bud will win. Like, come on, bro. You can also be disappointed when Bud loses. And I'm going off Canelo power, but I'm also going off his skills as well. Bud never faced some like him. So, Punisher, look, I'm going to tell you something interesting. You see how you said that you're going off of his skills? Wrong. Skills are your secondary argument. Now you brought up skills. But just like everybody else, I want you to think about it. Just like you, everybody else does the same thing. Y'all bring up Canelo's power. Y'all bring up that he knocked down this guy. Y'all bring up that he's a 168 pounder and Crawford is moving up. You're always that's your primary argument. The power, the power, the power. And then as a response to what I tell you, you're like, nah, yeah, but he got skills. Yeah, he got skills. But skills is not your primary argument. Because deep down inside, you don't really think he got more skills than Crawford. If you did, from the beginning, skills is what you will mention. From the beginning, you will say, yo, Canelo is a 168 pounder, but he's more skilled. He's going to outbox him. But you never bring that up. You guys never say that. You guys always talk about how stronger he is and how he's going to knock Crawford out and how he's knocked out bigger guys than Crawford. And then as a response, you bring up Canelo's skills. I'm the one talking about skills. And you had to respond by saying, yeah, but he got skills too. Come on now. Nobody's really, people who are going with Canelo winning this fight are not really going by skills. Everybody's going by he's bigger and stronger. And Crawford's not going to be able to withstand his power and all this crazy stuff. But Floyd was able to withstand his power. And so was Bivol. Make of that what you will. The nobody. I feel Canelo slowing down. Not saying he's washed, but his last few fights, he hasn't looked the same as he has in his previous fights. So I'm going to disagree with you on that one. And I'm going to tell you why. Styles make fights. We always have to take that into consideration. And if you look at his fight versus William Skull, the only thing that we saw there, and it's something that we've always known about Canelo, is that he's not the fastest guy on his feet. He doesn't have the footwork like that. So you're fighting a guy who's going to run around and has the conditioning to run around for 12 rounds. You're not going to catch him. You're not going to catch him. It's going to be a boring fight. It's going to play out the way that it did. But to be fair, it played out the way that it did because William Skull showed up to survive. He showed up to go the distance. He wasn't there to actually engage Canelo and try to beat him, try to take it from him. No, he was there to survive. So, but when Canelo throws his punches, he don't look slower to me, my brother. The only thing that I see is that he does less footwork. You know, he's not going to follow. He doesn't cut the ring as well as he used to. But his punches, the speed in his punches looks good to me. His sharpness looks elite level to me. Power is up there. You know, like he has all the tangibles to still be performing at the highest level. The only thing, if he get a runner, he's not going to be chasing him around like that. I mean, he's going to chase him around, but he's not going to be very successful in that. Simple as that. So I don't say that he's diminished. I think that he's still performing at an elite level. Chase Clips. Yo, what's the deal, Chase? Bam. Angry Mexican. What's the deal, my G? Canelo pushed Bud away with one arm. My brother, if you're standing still with your feet next to each other, I could push you away with my pinky. What are you talking about? Stop. Stop. If I catch you by surprise, with a pinky, my guy, I'll push you away. That don't mean nothing. Asa, hello. Bastard, will you come Pakistan, please? No, I don't want to go to Pakistan, my brother. But thank you for the invite. Angry Mexican. If bust out Madrimov, Angry Mexican, do not bring up Madrimov. That has nothing to do with Canelo. You talking like you don't know shit about boxing. And you know that I got love for you, but you don't know shit about boxing when you bring up another fight. That don't got nothing to do with this one. Punisher. You always put everyone in the same boat. This is the first time I mentioned Canelo Power. And I only mentioned it because you say that's what people base it on. And I'm telling you, yeah, he got power, but he has skills. Nah, Punisher, you brought up skills afterwards. You didn't bring up skills as your first comment. You brought up power and size as your first comment. I don't remember if you're also the one that brought up that he dropped big 200-pound Berlanga. So you brought up power first, and what I'm saying is that just like everybody else, you brought up power and you brought up size. And that's the primary argument or what mostly everybody brings up, Canelo size and power. And then as a secondary argument or as a response, they like, yeah, he got skills. If we go back to your comments, Punisher, if we scroll back, the first thing you said was not that Canelo got the skills. The first thing you said was about his power. Angry Mexican, Jay Smith. You know it's all love, my G. Tú sabes qué es lo que es ese. Dime ese. Vamos a comer un taco con guacamole. But yeah, my peoples, listen, Canelo Alvarez is a great fighter. He's a pound-for-pound fighter. I don't believe one bit that he's diminished. I believe that Canelo Alvarez is going to give Crawford a very tough fight. I'm not one of these fans who I feel like I got to give credit to Crawford, so I got to diminish Canelo. That's the funny thing about a lot of Canelo fans or people rooting for Canelo. It's like, why do you guys feel like in order to give Canelo credit and say Canelo's gonna win, you gotta discredit Crawford. You gotta talk bad about Crawford. Oh, look, he couldn't do this against Madrimov, and look, he hasn't done this, and look, he hasn't. Like, why do you gotta discredit him? It's two great fighters. It's two pound-for-pound fighters. This is a historical fight. We're getting a treat as boxing fans. What we really need to do is enjoy this fight to the fullest, my people. Enjoy every moment, every press conference, every face-to-face, the trash talking, the lead-up, the weigh-in, and then finally the fight, which I promise you is going to be fireworks. We're up for a great fight, my peoples. Why do people got to try to discredit a fighter or hate on a fighter? Why? Terence Crawford going to whoop that ass. I already told y'all. And when he do, I hope y'all come on my live and explain yourself. Tell me how you feel. And I hope y'all don't do the same thing y'all did with Errol Spence. Because with Errol Spence, I remember a lot of y'all was like, yo, Errol Spence gonna knock Crawford out. Errol Spence is too big. Errol Spence is too strong. The truth, he's the truth. He's the body snatcher. He's gonna break Crawford down to the body. Crawford stops him. Oh, nah, the car accident and, the eye and Errol Spence, his dog ate his homework when he was in training camp. And, he was messing around and he smoked a blunt that day. Like, what the hell's going on out here? How did we go from Errol's gonna knock him out, he's gonna beat him up, to, the car accident, he just, after all these years, he never really recovered, He beat Danny Garcia and Ugas for a title, but then the accident came back, when he fought Crawford, like, that shit don't even make no sense. That shit don't even make no sense, my peoples. So now I hope when when Crawford beats Canelo, that we don't do the same thing. I hope that y'all don't do the same thing and come with the, nah, Canelo. I already see somebody trying it. Canelo's different. Canelo's kind of diminished. Or, he wasn't focused for this fight. He didn't look the same. Because one common denominator when somebody get their ass, when an undefeated champion, and Canelo's not undefeated, but I'm making an example. When an undefeated champion get their ass whooped, or when it's a tough fight, people always say, yo, he didn't really look the same. And I want to explain to you guys something. As a fighter, I want to explain to you something. If you see an undefeated fighter who's used to beating everybody up, or a world champion who's used to beating everybody up, when they get beat up, of course they're not going to look the same. Because you're not used to seeing them getting beat up. You're not used to seeing them getting pummeled. So Errol Spence didn't look the same. Of course, you ain't never seen him get his ass whooped. How is he going to look the same? So now, look at Tank Davis with Lamar Roach. Oh, nah, Tank didn't look the same. He wasn't the same. Of course he didn't look the same. We used to seeing him knocking people out, and we watched Lamar Roach putting the beats on him. All type of hands. We watched Tank Davis get gifted a draw. Of course he's not gonna look the same. So the point that I'm trying to make to you, my people, is that even great fighters, when they're getting beat or they getting outboxed, they don't look the same. That doesn't mean that something happened before the fight or that they wasn't focused. You getting your ass whooped. We have to accept it sometimes. Nah, yo, this dude is a lot better. He whooped that ass. Why we can't just accept that? Come on now. Let me read some of your comments, my people. I'm getting emotional over here talking about this. Mr. Kayo, man, y'all doing my boy like a C-level fighter with 30 people in here and only 4 likes. Double tap that screen real quick. It's easier watching Bud Crawford beating Canelo. Damn, yo, you see what I'm saying? My peoples don't be hitting that like button for me. Like, damn, yo, I might not making sense. Y'all like, yeah, fuck it, this nigga don't make no sense. Don't even like this shit. Punisher. And I don't mention size. I feel you, my brother, but I felt like that was your focus, that Canelo. Or if you're saying that's not the case with you, we see that a lot. And I know you've seen it as well in the comment section where people posting about Canelo being bigger. That's the main narrative. Canelo's bigger, Crawford's moving up, multiple divisions, Canelo's too strong. That's been the narrative that's being spread. Yo, Crawford killed that narrative the moment he went face-to-face with Canelo in the first presser. I asked the magic question, does Canelo look a lot bigger than Crawford like people thought he would? No. I'm giving you the answer. Mr. Cayo, they already trying to do it. They like, nah, that's not the same Canelo. Yeah, they already trying to do it. And the funny thing is, and that's what's good about this too, Crawford is older than Canelo. Crawford is 37. I think Canelo is 34 or 35. So don't try to say, oh, he washed up. Nigga, Crawford is older than him by a couple of years. Gary Deans, Bud Crawford is the man. Get up, Bud. Facts, my brother. I mean, Terence Crawford is going to win this fight. I already told people. By unanimous decision. Viz, hey, brother from Australia. Yeah, this is the best fight. Bud, what's up, Viz? Appreciate you dropping in, my G. I'm going to tell you something, my peoples. I don't know if you were on that live, but a few weeks ago, I had somebody telling me on live that Crawford versus Canelo wasn't going to be that big. Like, nah, that fight isn't going to be that big. You exaggerating. You this, you that. My peoples, I want you to think about this. Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson got over 100 million views on Netflix. We're talking about a retired fighter and a YouTuber. Granted, Jake Paul is very popular. We got to give him that. He's a very popular fighter, which means, not, because he's a YouTuber. But At this point, he's a professional boxer and he's very popular. He got his own fan base that he brought in from YouTube, but they did 100 million views. Now, take this into consideration. Crawford versus Canelo is going down on YouTube. That's a global platform. People already have it. They're just, yo, I'm telling you, they're going to buy that fight. They're going to get that fight. The views on Crawford versus Canelo is going to be crazy. It's going to be historic. This is going to be one of the most viewed fights in boxing history. Watch. I'm not saying one of the most, I'm not saying it's going to break pay-per-view records. Yeah, I'm not saying that because I don't know if it's going to be included or how much is it going to cost. None of that, none of those details. But the views, being that it's on a global platform like Netflix, is going to be monstrous. It's going to be gigantic, ginormous. So this is the biggest fight in boxing. That's it. There's no getting around it. Canelo versus Crawford is the biggest fight in boxing. But I'm telling you, that main... Look, I'm going to tell you, my people's, two different narratives that we see for this fight. Gary Dean's, Terence made Errol look bad. And we know that Errol's a great fighter. Great fighters could be made to look bad. That's why I brought up Floyd and Bivol. They made Canelo look bad. That doesn't mean that he's not a great fighter. It just means that he faced guys who was able to outbox him. People have this notion that if you're great, you're always going to look great. And the moment you don't look great, you're a hype job. No, it's not like that. Great fighters don't look great in every single fight. You don't look great in that. Nobody in the history of boxing looked great in every single fight. Even the fighters who retired undefeated. Like if you look at Floyd Mayweather versus Castillo, the first fight, did he look great? No. People felt he lost that fight. If you look at Floyd Mayweather's first fight with Maidana, did he look great? No. People thought he lost that fight. But what makes his greatness? Yo, he gave both of them a rematch because the original fight was close and whooped their ass. Both of them. But he didn't look great in the first fight versus either guy. It happens. You're not always going to look great. Your data, my boy, you can't say Crawford can win. Canelo has fought harder competition, but has fought nobody. Listen, your data, I want you to understand something. What you're saying, it might make logical sense to you, but it has absolutely nothing to do with what's going to happen when they fight each other, my brother. That's some, and I don't want you to think that I say it in a disrespectful, in a bad way, but that's some casual boxing fan type of thinking. Oh, he fought this guy and he fought that guy, so that means that when they fight each other, it doesn't work that way, my brother. When they fight each other, you're going to see their skills go up against each other. It doesn't matter who Canelo fought. It doesn't matter who Crawford fought. That's incoherent and irrelevant, whether you think it's a good point or not, my guy. Melcar X, I'm new to the chat. What you think about the Canelo Bud fight? Yo, Canelo versus Crawford is the biggest fight in boxing. I got Crawford winning it. I do, like I say to everybody, Canelo is a great fighter. He's a pound-for-pound fighter. One of the best of this era. He's going to go down as an all-time great. I'm not diminishing Canelo. I just feel like Crawford has the right tools and the right skill set to outbox him. That's it. Simple as that. Your data, bro. Bud has fought no one. I'm not even going to continue to read that comment. Your data. Bud has fought no one. Like, you're delusional, bro. Bud has fought Errol Spence. That's it. Nah. You don't know what you're talking about. If you fought Errol Spence and that's it, you wouldn't be a 4th division champion, a multiple division undisputed champion, a reigning undefeated champion. You just don't understand boxing like that. So you think he hasn't fought nobody. Meanwhile, for the last 10 plus years, but been fighting opponents that are all ranked within the top 10 or top 5 of multiple sanctioning bodies. You just don't understand that, my guy. But when I have time, I could explain it to you. He's been fighting great top-level competition. Melcar X is not the physical size I care about. It's the durability and punches he throws. Canelo used to 200-pounders. But my brother, if you're talking about durability and punches he throws, but you're also bringing up Canelo's used to 200-pounders, you're talking about size. 200-pounders is referring to size. So what I'm trying to tell you is that Canelo got beat by Floyd and Bivol, two guys that were not hard punchers, that did not have a high knockout percentage, who simply outboxed him. We've already seen him be outboxed twice. And not only outboxed, he was made to look bad. Versus Floyd, he looked like a C-level fighter. Versus Bivol, he looked like a B-level fighter, just chasing it and trying to make something happen. They made him look bad. So what I'm trying to explain to you, my peoples, is that if we've seen Canelo get outboxed by guys who didn't have his level of power, why are we clinging on to his power for this fight? We're clinging on him being the bigger guy, or look, he's fighting bigger guys. But we seen him get beat twice by guys who did not bring power to the table. So that's all I'm telling you. Crawford has the skill set to outbox him. That's it. While everybody, and look, you keep making my point, my brother. While everybody keeps bringing up size, and power, I'm telling you, bro. But we've seen him get outboxed. I seen him get outboxed. You seen him get outboxed. Made to look bad, like outboxed thoroughly. Because that's the one thing. There's no controversy in Canelo's losses. Nobody's saying, yo, he got robbed. He should have won that fight. You know, he got robbed versus Bivol, or they robbed him against Floyd. No, he lost thoroughly. So if we seen him outboxed, we don't have to cling on to weight and power only, because we know that he could be beat without those tools. The people that beat him, it's not that they chose not to use power. They didn't have power. They were not knockout artists or power punchers. Yet they beat him and made it look easy, my peoples. So we have to always take that into consideration. He can't be outboxed. You could cling on to the power, but he can be outboxed. Ralph Bottles, Bud is going to do Canelo like Benvidez would have. I don't think he's going to do Canelo like Benvidez would have, just because Benvidez is so big. I think the Mexican monster would have been the first guy to stop Canelo. I think the size difference is so much. That's why, to be honest, my people, I always gave Canelo a pass for not fighting Benvidez. I gave him a pass because I felt like the size. Remember earlier, I was telling y'all, at 168, Canelo's a very small guy. He's a very small 168-pounder. Benvidez was a huge 168-pounder, clinging to make weight for that Canelo sweepstake. Nobody called him a weight bully, but he was too big for that division. Look, he had 175 comfortably, and he's going to fight higher than that. He's going to end up moving up again. He's a big guy. So I gave Canelo a pass for that. Gave him a pass for that. Real talk. So I feel like Benvidez was too big. In Crawford's case, I feel like he's just more skilled. So he's going to outbox Canelo. Melcar X. Canelo can be outboxed, but Bud has shown he can have stanky leg from guys like Gamboa, Mean Machine. So I think Canelo can do the same. You see, the thing about that, the problem with your statement, my brother, is that stanky leg that you're talking about, Crawford has 41 wins, and y'all still bringing up Gamboa. That was like 10 years ago. Did he fight Gamboa like 10 years ago? He fought Meat Machine, what, 5, 6 years ago? In 41 fights, you find 2 fights that you bringing up. You've been bringing up Gamboa for 10 years. Come on, my brother. Let Gamboa go, bro. 10 years and 3 divisions and 4 divisions away, you still bringing him up. You got to stop that. So, if anything, Crawford has shown that he has an iron chin. Guy, 41 fights. Been staggered twice in his whole career. And he got stanky leg. You sound like a casual, bro. Yes, like, you gotta have some big balls to still be bringing up Gamboa. Like, y'all been bringing up Gamboa for 10 years. That's how great Crawford is. That he keep fighting, winning titles, winning in different divisions, becoming undisputed, accomplishing more, and y'all still bringing up Gamboa. Stop it. Don't do it to yourself. Mr. Cayo, let's talk about how Canelo dug Bivol again for the rematch. I mean, if he would have fought Bivol, the same thing was going to happen. Real talk. But we got to understand, he moved way up. If I'm telling you that he's a small, think about it. I'm telling you Canelo's a very small 168-pounder. What does that make him at 175? Little. He just little. He too little at 175. He got nothing to do up there. Leandro Rodriguez outboxed by a guy that beat undisputed champ, bigger, younger fighter. Bro, you know nothing about boxing. You got it, fam. Gary Dreams, he beat Benvidez. Who beat Benvidez? Benvidez is undefeated, my brother. Mr. Cayo, now you just saying BS, Leandro. You got fresh. Man, listen, I don't even know what he's talking about. Leandro Rodriguez, 5'7" Mexican, fighting 6 feet plus 200 pounders. Okay, good stuff. That don't mean nothing. Floyd Mayweather little and still beat his ass. Mr. Cayo, that have no skill. Berlanga, come on. Like, you see, that's the thing. The same people that will tell you Berlanga's a bum, Berlanga's a hype job, when it's time to give Canelo credit, yo, he dropped Berlanga. He dropped a big dude. Look how he dropped Berlanga. Bro, just the other day you was telling me Berlanga's a bum. Just the other day you was telling me Berlanga's a hype job. Now Berlanga's the shit when you want to give props to Canelo. Come on, man. Let's be for real. Let's be for real. El Baisa, you seen Bug get rocked a couple of times. And how many years ago that was? How many years ago that was? Let me see. He got rocked versus Gamboa 10 years ago. He got rocked versus Mean Machine 6, 7 years ago. So in 41 fights, you see somebody get rocked 2, 3 times, and you determine that he chinny? Only somebody who don't know shit about boxing would say that. You didn't see Floyd Mayweather get rocked versus Shane Mosley? You didn't see Floyd Mayweather get rocked versus Zab Judah? You didn't see Floyd Mayweather get rocked versus Marcos Maidana? That the bell rang and Floyd Mayweather literally staggered to his corner, stumbling? You didn't see that? So what I'm trying to explain to you is that getting rocked in a fight doesn't mean shit. If you don't know shit about boxing, you think it means something. But it don't mean shit. Just say, oh, 10 years ago versus Gamboa, he got dropped 10 years ago versus Gamboa, and 7 years ago, he didn't even get dropped. He got stunned. Years ago, in 41 professional fights, I remember a couple of times that he got staggered. What are you talking about, bro? The greatest fighters of all times been staggered, been caught with a good shot. That don't mean shit. Come on now. Come on, my people. We got to do better than that. Gabriel Puroy. ¿Crees que Crawford pueda manejar ese peso por 12 rounds? Quizás no sea tan rápido. So, yes, Terence Crawford will be able to handle that weight, that 168 division. Recuerda, manito, que Crawford está caminando ahora mismo pesando 180 y pico de libras. Él va a tener que rebajar a las 168. So, no es como que él va a subir, que él es chiquito. Él está grande y fuerte ahora mismo. Terence Crawford. And my peoples, I was saying that in Spanish because the comment was in Spanish. But I'm saying to everyone who believed that Crawford is this 154-pounder moving up to 168, I want to remind you, man, Terence Crawford is walking around weighing 185 pounds. Walking around north of 180 pounds. And it's not a fat 185 pounds. It's a jacked. Have you seen him in the gym without shirt? Jacked 185 pounds. He's going to have to cut weight to make 168. So for people who's thinking that he's little, and I don't know if you're thinking he's gonna gain the weight a couple of weeks before the fight, this dude been walking around weighing in the 180 for months, and he's been bulking up. It's not just that he got heavy eating a bunch of food in a couple of weeks. He been bulking up in the gym, getting strong as hell. When Canelo was weighing 168 for his fight versus William Score, a couple of days before that, Crawford posted a picture with him standing on a scale weighing 185 pounds. So you think about that. While Crawford was weighing 168, Crawford was weighing 185 pounds. When Canelo stepped in the ring with William Score, Crawford was outweighing him by almost 20 pounds. And just remember that Crawford's a little bit taller and got more reach. And by the way, I'm pretty sure you guys agree that Bivol beat Canelo by using effectively his size and reach, right? That reach advantage, that long jab, he was able to keep Canelo at a distance. And Canelo was not able to work those body punches as effectively as we're used to seeing him, right? Bivol capped him at the end of that jab. And every time Canelo closed the gap, bam, 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 combinations raining on him. So he couldn't be himself, right? I'm going to tell you guys a crazy statistic so that you can understand part of Terence Crawford athletic gifts. Bro, Terence Crawford is only 1 inch taller than Canelo. Yet, he has a longer reach than Dimitri Bivol. I want you to let that sizzle in your spirit. Terence Crawford is only 1 inch taller than Canelo Alvarez. He has a longer reach than Dimitri Bivol. Let that shit marinate in your spirit. Think about that. Crawford got some long-ass arms, my peoples. He got a long-ass reach. And Canelo is the opposite. He got some short-ass arms. So I want you to look at their body type. Because first y'all thought Canelo was too big. Oh, Canelo's too big. He's too big. If you see them face to face, now Canelo's not too big for Crawford. At all. He doesn't even look bigger than him. At all. So what I want you to take into consideration is that Terence Crawford is not going to be moving up and gaining a bunch of weight. He's actually going to cut down to 168 from the 180s. Mr. Cayo, y'all not going to have shit to say come September. Watch. I'm telling you. Leonardo Rodriguez, Mr. Cayo, my point is Canelo is not big, stupid. People saying little Mayweather beat him. Y'all just groupies that don't watch boxing. Everyone has had a longer reach than Canelo. Stupid point. Everyone has had a longer reach than Canelo. It's a stupid point until you realize that Dimitri Bivol used that longer reach to whoop his ass. I don't know, for some reason, it's like Leonardo Rodriguez and other Canelo fans, they erase from their mind the fights when Canelo got his ass whooped and how he got his ass whooped. But if you need to refresh your recollection, Leonardo, watch the video. Watch the video and see what Dimitri Bivol was able to do on Canelo. Watch the video and see how Floyd made Canelo look like a sea-level bum. Do you forget that? I don't know. It looked like you somehow erased that from your memory to make goofy arguments. Mr. Cayo, little old Mayweather beat him after you and your people and Oscar, I don't know what you're talking about, man. I'm not going to continue to read that. I don't know what you're talking about. Angry Mexican, but not as defensively sound as Bivol. Go look at those punches Canelo landed on Bivol's arms. They were bruised and beat up so badly. That's a good argument. I don't think Buck can deal with those shots landing like Bivol. You don't think that he could deal with those shots landing, but what tells you that they're going to land? That tells you that they're gonna land. That's the point. Banks OZ, you really like Crawford. Bet on it. I mean, it's not about me liking Crawford. I'm looking at the facts. You see, that's the thing. Let me tell you something. Because, first of all, Crawford and Canelo, they're both amongst my favorite fighters. Both of them are amongst my favorite fighters. Now, let me tell you something. I'm going to give you a sound logic as to why I see Crawford winning this fight. Not no goldfish like, oh, this guy beat that guy and this guy beat him. I'm bringing up Floyd and Bivol because we know Canelo can be outboxed. He was outboxed twice by two different fighters. He was outboxed twice by guys that fight differently. Both had the same results. Both made him look bad. I'm showing you this. Number one, both fighters who outboxed Canelo had a reach advantage on him. That's number one. Number two, both fighters who beat Canelo had a low knockout percentage. Number three, both fighters who beat Canelo did not use power to beat him. Number four, neither fighter who beat Canelo hurt him at any point during the fight. Now, y'all tell me what I'm lying about, or y'all tell me what I got wrong. The people who beat Canelo outboxed him. Both of them. And both of them beat him thoroughly. Made him look bad. What am I lying about? So all I'm saying is, to the people who keep clinging onto power and saying, yo, Canelo got power, Crawford is not going to be able to handle his power. And the people that beat him didn't need power to beat him. Why, if you already saw him lose twice to non-power punchers, do you feel like Crawford needs power? Why are we setting that bar for Crawford when we already saw him get outboxed by two different people with two different styles? It don't make sense to me. I'm giving you the logic. Terence Crawford is a great boxer, and he has the skills to outbox Canelo, but he also has physical advantages that Canelo faced versus the opponents that beat him. Height and reach. That reach advantage gave Canelo problem versus two fighters who kept him at the end of that jab and put hands on him every time he tried to close the gap. Now, I'm giving you my sound logic as to why Crawford has the skill set to beat Canelo. I'm not bringing up other fights. I'm not bringing up other fighters. I'm simply pointing out that Canelo and Bivol did not need power to beat him. He didn't need power to beat him. Neither guy needed that power. So if you think that Crawford needs to be stronger or Canelo's too strong, right there, those two fights should tell you that strength is not relevant. It's not as relevant as you think. Especially with Terence Crawford walking around weighing 185 pounds, jacked. He's not going to be small in front of Canelo. It's not, the size difference is not going to be what you think. The power difference is not going to be what you think. We're going to find out come September 13th. Leonardo Rodriguez, Mr. Cayo, no, he doesn't. Bud is a fighter that likes to exchange. He never fights on the back foot, which Bivol and Floyd did. So stop the bullshit. Leonardo Rodriguez, I'm going to debunk your comment right now. I don't usually debunk people on the spot, but I'm going to have to debunk you. You saying that Crawford is a fighter that likes to engage, and he never fights on the back foot. Look what you say, he never fight on the back foot. Let me show you that you're talking shit because you simply don't like Crawford and you're always hating. Go watch anybody who's on this live right now. Watch Crawford versus Victor Postol. Victor Postol, when he fought Crawford, was undefeated at that time. Very tall guy. Watched that fight. And Crawford was using his footwork on him, moving around him, had him chasing, had him timing him, counter-punching him. And Victor Postol was trying to chase him and be aggressive the whole fight, while Bud was using his lateral movement constantly, giving him angles. So what you just said about Crawford, according to you, never fights off the back foot, I just debunked it right now. You don't know what you're talking about. You make up shit inside your head to make an argument that fits your narrative. Go, if you haven't watched it, because right now, either you're lying or you didn't watch Crawford versus Postol. So go watch Crawford versus Postol, and then you can come back and be like, yeah, I was wrong. Crawford is man nice with the back foot. You wrong. Sorry. Sorry, bro. Wrong. Stop the bullshit. Banco Z. It was Bivol ethnicity style. I don't know what you mean by ethnicity style. I think that Bivol did two things. He fought Canelo very differently than Floyd, but he did two things, just like Floyd. He was very constant, either with the jab or with the pouring Canelo in the face as he was closing the gap. Consistent. That jab was in Canelo's face all night long. Floyd did it, Bivol did it. So all I'm trying to tell you is Terence Crawford, who has a longer reach than Canelo by a lot. You think, like, do people not understand the level where Terence Crawford is at already? And do they not understand that he's game planning for Canelo? That he's game planning for his weaknesses, for his losses? It's like, I don't know why people believe. Yo, the way people describe this fight is like Canelo is 6'6" and Crawford is 5'3", and they're going to fight each other, and Canelo's just going to be this giant that's going to absolutely pummel Crawford. And it's like, we already seen them face each other twice. Twice. They already faced off against each other. We already know Canelo's not bigger than Crawford. Did we not just see it already? We already seen them facing off, my peoples. Ozzy, strength might be relevant in the clinch. No, strength will definitely be relevant in the clinch in Crawford's favor. Did you forget that Crawford is a wrestler? And that he manhandles bodies? That's why I'm trying to tell you that people underestimate Crawford's strength, Crawford's power. In the clinch, Canelo's the one at the disadvantage. Crawford be ragdolling dudes that's bigger than Canelo be in wrestling. In wrestling, Crawford will ragdoll Canelo, bro. And I'll remind you, that's why I said earlier, Ozzy, while Canelo was fighting at 168, Crawford took a picture weighing 185 pounds. Almost 20 pounds heavier than Canelo. Bulked. Bulked. So you think about that. Is Canelo really going to have the physical advantage in the ring that people think he's going to have? When you got a Terence Crawford who's walking around jacked in the 180s, and he's actually going to have to cut down to 168. Yo, that power difference and that strength difference that people got in their mind is going to disappear in the first round, bro. The moment Crawford lands a big shot, the idea that Canelo's just going to walk him down and beat him up is going to disappear from your mind if that's what you thought was going to happen. Leonardo Rodriguez, he's known for getting hit and wanting his leg back. No, that's true. That's true. Crawford tries to retaliate when he gets hit, but Canelo does too. Canelo does too. Canelo, if you catch him with a good shot, he smiles and he's trying to go at you. They both aggressive fighters. They both, as soon as you touch them, they go at you. Mr. Cayo, got punched on the 12 rounds. I don't know what you mean by that, bro. You lost me on that. Chris Fonton, Jay, what's up, bro? What's the deal, my G? Bam, appreciate you dropping in. Leonardo Rodriguez, bro, I love Crawford. I just know Bud ain't a runner. That's his downfall. My man has set one fight. So let me tell you something funny about that, Leonardo. And I think this is interesting. We know that in his whole career, Crawford never been a runner. But, like I told you, my brother, check out Crawford versus Victor Postol, and you see a Crawford that looks like a Devin Haney out there. Footwork, crazy footwork. Why? Because Postol is a guy who had power and was a lot bigger than him. And he didn't stand there and trade with him. He traded, but he also stepped in and out a lot. Didn't stay in the pocket. So Crawford is a fighter. Throughout his career, he has shown us that he can adapt his style to his opponent, to what his opponent is going to bring to the table. And I'm telling you, Crawford is not just going to stand in there with Canelo and trade leather. He's not going to be irresponsible defensively. Because I can tell you, he was irresponsible defensively versus Madrimov. There was one time where he stood in front of Madrimov. You probably remember that moment in the fight where he took 3 right hands back to back. But it wasn't like hard punches. He was standing in front of Madrimov, and Madrimov was like, boom, caught him with a right hand, and he stood right there, boom, boom, and caught him with 2 more. He was just standing in front of him. He's not going to do that. That's why I tell people, bringing up Madrimov is irrelevant. He's not going to fight Canelo Alvarez the same way that he fought Madrimov. It's not going to be the same type of fight. So we are going to see Crawford using that footwork on Canelo. And he would be crazy not to. Why? Because if you already seen the blueprint to beating him, we already saw the blueprint. Floyd laid down the blueprint, and then Dimitri Bivol came and followed it. So if we already know that Canelo has that power, but he has that weakness with his footwork, where look, he couldn't cut the ring to save his life versus William Score. It made it a boring fight. So he beat him, but he couldn't dominate him. He couldn't do it. So if we already know that his footwork is his weakness, is the kink in his armor, why the hell will Crawford not use it on him? It doesn't mean that he's going to run. If you look at Crawford versus Victor Postol, Crawford wasn't running. He was using the footwork, giving him angles, and putting all type of hands on him. But Crawford ain't a runner. He never ran in his whole career. But they play mind games with Crawford. You see Canelo in the presser in front of him telling Turkey, get a smaller ring. Don't run. He better not run. They creating a narrative. You know why they doing this? They playing mind games because they want Crawford to go into this fight with that in mind, like, oh shit, I can't run, and be over aggressive, or be like, I'm gonna show him, I'm gonna beat him up, and make mistakes and fuck around even get knocked out. Because if you make a mistake versus Canelo Alvarez, it could be a short night. And that's what they're doing, and y'all don't even understand it. They playing mind games. Why would you tell a guy not to run when he never ran in his whole career? He never ran in his whole career, my peoples. Crawford, no one on here, no one on the chat can say that Crawford has a reputation or has ever had a reputation for running. We never seen that. Never seen it. So why now all of a sudden we're going to act like it's a possibility that he could run in the most important fight of his life? That don't even make no sense. Banks OZ, Score ran all night. That's a fact. He ran all night. I'm not saying otherwise. But 25-year-old Canelo, not even 30-year-old Canelo, would have cut the ring on him, cornered him, and beat the crap out of him. He couldn't do it. He don't have the footwork anymore to keep up with a guy that's moving like that. So I'm not telling you that Crawford is going to run like Score did, but he's going to use the footwork. He's going to give Crawford angles. He's going to make a move around. He's going to use some of the same things that Floyd and Bivol used to beat him. We're going to see it. Mr. Kayo, what are your thoughts on what he was going to do to Spence, he was going to do to Madrimov, but was on a 10-count KO streak, and Errol made it 11. So here's something that I want you to consider, and I think everybody should consider. Most of us had never seen Madrimov before he faced Crawford. And I already caught a couple of people lying, telling me, yeah, I seen him, and then they couldn't even say who or when or nothing. They had to Google that shit. Most of us didn't know Madrimov, right? And he had like 10 pro fights, all in Europe, so how would we know? We wouldn't even hear about him. But had a very extensive amateur career, became a world champion in the 154 division. Crawford moves up, challenges him. Crawford didn't have the benefit of a bunch of footage to study this guy. And what we found out in that fight is that Madrimov is one of these awkward fighters who's constantly feigning. Constantly feigning. And yo, when guys fight like that, they man hard to time. It's hard to time somebody that might feint and then throw a lead right hand, then feint 3 times. Jab, feint, jab, constantly doing that shit. I hate that. I sparred with people that do that. I hate that. And Madrimov is that type of fighter. Very hard to time him. But watch this. Crawford beat him. Unanimous decision. Okay. But Virgil Ortiz now has the benefit of tape, of video footage of Madrimov. He watched 12 rounds versus Crawford for his own training camp when he was going to face him. Now he knows this guy moves a lot. This guy feints a lot. And think about that. That's how good Madrimov is. Virgil Ortiz had a whole training camp now with footage of this guy, and he couldn't stop him. Still went the distance with him. So I think with Crawford and Madrimov, people use that fight like to try to put Crawford down. And this is a reigning world champion who Crawford beat and who Virgil Ortiz beat, and he couldn't stop him either. He couldn't stop him. So there isn't really, right now, anyone in Madrimov's career who has dominated him. He's never been dominated. And again, I always tell people, great fighters don't dominate every single opponent they face, my people. Did Tank Davis dominate Pitbull? Did Tank Davis dominate Lamar Roach? Got his ass whooped in that fight and got gifted a draw. But he's undefeated. So, for whatever reason, people don't understand that no matter how great you are, you're not going to dominate every single fighter you face. Someone is going to show up with a style that's going to match up with yours in a way that is going to be difficult for you to beat that person. And even if that person could go to somebody else and get knocked out in the second round, styles make fights. That person that knocked them out in the second round, that doesn't mean they're going to knock you out. You might knock him out. The triangle theory doesn't work in boxing. That's why I always tell people, don't bring up what happened in another fight. If these two guys are fighting, it's irrelevant to bring up what those two guys. You could bring it up simply to show a point, like I'm showing you. For Canelo Alvarez been outboxed twice by guys who are not power punchers. We already know that. So the notion that he's stronger and bigger, so what? Even if you believe that he's stronger and bigger, so what? That doesn't mean that he's gonna win. Like the popular saying goes, skills pay the bills. I promise you guys, the more skilled fighter is going to win on September 13th. That fight is not gonna break down to power. Nobody's gonna get knocked out. Nobody's gonna get stopped. It's gonna go the distance, and the more skilled fighter is gonna win on the scorecards. Joey, Canelo got that power though. You see, Joey, I hadn't even seen your comment. And look what I just finished saying. The fight is not going to boil down to power. Everybody keeps bringing up power, power, power. But at the end of the day, it's going to boil down to skills. Ain't going to be no stoppage. Watch. Panty sniffer, Crawford versus Canelo is going to be crazy, but Canelo not in his prime, and Crawford too. To say that they're not in their prime, I think it's a little bit unfair, and I'll tell you why. Right now, Canelo is a reigning undisputed champion. Crawford is a reigning undefeated champion in the 154 division. So if you believe they're not in their prime, cool, but both of them are performing at the highest elite level. They're performing at the top. So that fight is going to be a great fight. Banks, Bivol ain't power. That's what I'm saying, my brother. Bivol ain't a power puncher. And he beat Canelo, made it look easy. So when people keep focusing on power, 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 they're disregarding the fact that Canelo got outboxed by dudes that wasn't power punchers. Mr. Cayo, say the same thing about Crawford when he win, Banks. Leonardo Rodriguez, Bivol would knock Butt out. Floyd would have 12-0 Butt respectfully. That's your opinion. That's your opinion, buddy. Respectfully, watch this. Respectfully, Leonardo Rodriguez, I would assume that you never laced a pair of gloves in your life. Ever. Oh, maybe in front of the street and in your backyard to compete with, to box with your buddies. But the stuff that you're saying, you never boxed a day in your life. Ever. Banks OZ, how the hell do you think he won Canelo? Banks OZ, he is though. Mr. Cayo, come on now. You can't say that. Y'all said the same thing about when he lost to Floyd and complained about the weight when he lost to Bivol. I mean, I don't know what you're talking about. See, that's the thing, my brother. When you say yeah, you generalize. I don't know who you're even talking about. I know that at the end of the day, he has two losses to two fighters who are not known to be power punchers, and he got outboxed in both of those losses. We've seen it already. We've seen Canelo get outboxed. Leonardo Rodriguez, Bivol has knockout power. Stop it, bro. Yo, hold on, man. This guy said Bivol has knockout power. Let's take a look. You see, my brother, let me tell you something. I don't just talk to just talk, and I don't make stuff up, out of nowhere. So, since you say, I say Bivol doesn't have power, he's not a power puncher, and you say Bivol has power, Leonardo Rodriguez, let's look at his box rec. Bivol has 24 wins and 12 knockouts. That sounds like he got power to you? 24 wins and 12 knockouts. Now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. In Bivol's last 10 fights, he got one stoppage. In his last 10 fights, he got the grand total of one stoppage. He got power. Come on, Leonardo Rodriguez. You're making stuff up like from the top of your head, like out of thin air. Bivol has never been known to be a power puncher. What are we doing here? What are you talking about? You will never find a post or nobody saying, yo, Bivol's a power puncher. Never been known as a power puncher. And in fact, because that's the one thing about Dimitri Bivol. A lot of people who supposedly follow Dimitri Bivol, in reality, they know about him from recent fights. But let me tell you something, my brother, about Dimitri Bivol that you may or may not be aware of. So you already know that Bivol has 24 wins and 12 knockouts. So Leonardo, for you to say that he has power, that's crazy work. That's nasty work. But also, in his entire career, Dimitri Bivol got 2 knockouts. That he actually knocked out the opponent. The others, The other 10 are technical knockouts, which came from an accumulation of punishment. You know, when you're beating up the fighter and the referee has to step in because they taking a lot of punishment, like that. So please, my brother, don't ever, ever, ever say that Bivol got power. Because either you lying or you don't know shit about boxing. Or you at least don't know about Bivol. You just heard about him. You know he's a champion. He's a good fighter. And you're like, yeah, he got power. He got power. He don't got power. He's not known as a power puncher. Never has. In his fight with Canelo, at no point in time did he hurt him. And he landed all types of punches on Canelo all night long. He's not a power puncher. Stop it. Don't ever say that Bivol's a power puncher. Banks, Bivol is all power. I don't understand. Speed and power. Come on, my brother. Look, I just show you Bivol's box rec. He got 12 knockouts and 24 wins, and in his last 10 fights, he got 1 stoppage. Where are you guys getting this power from? Where were you getting this from? I don't know. How do you come up? Because the way that you dictate power is by the knockout percentage, by the knockout ratio. And with 24 fights, 12 knockouts, that's not power. That's a very low percentage for a power puncher. Look at power punchers. Look at the power punchers in boxing. Their knockout percentage is in the 80s, in the 90%. A knockout puncher with 24 wins got 20 knockouts. 21 knockouts, 22 knockouts with 24 wins. That's a knockout puncher. 24 wins with 12 knockouts. That's not. Come on now, man. Stop. We got to stop. Mr. Cayo, on God, half y'all never been in the ring. That's the thing, man. When you never box, you can come up with some good opinions, but you could also come up with some bad opinions that in your head you think they're good, and they're not. Pee-wee, Canelo beats the fuck out of Crawford. You see, Kiwi never boxed a day in his life. When he say that, I know for a fact he never boxed a day in his life. For a fact. And I'm not knocking you, Pee-wee, because ain't nothing wrong with never boxing. You're a fan of the sport. You love the sweet science. We all love the sweet science. That's what we hear. But when you say Canelo beats the fuck out of Crawford, I know that you never boxed a day in your life. Mr. Cayo, I'm talking to the comments, J. Smith. They coming in delay. I feel you, my brother. Ozzy, the guy who beat Canelo said Terence is one of my favorite fighters. Yo, Bivol who beat Canelo says Crawford's going to beat Canelo. Pee-wee, 50% KO ratio. Yeah, 50% is a low KO percentage for 24 fights. Go look at the other power punchers with 24 fights. And I guarantee you they all have 80% plus KO ratio. Leonardo, 50% knockout ratio. That's a low percentage. Go look at Gervonta Tank Davis knockout percentage. Go look at Wilder knockout percentage. Go look at Fury knockout percentage. Go look at any power puncher knockout percentage. Look at Terence Crawford knockout percentage with over 40 fights. Y'all don't know how to analyze data, man? Come on, man. I got to teach you how to analyze data. I'll teach you so that you can actually render a valid opinion. 50% knockout percentage for 24 fights is low. Look at power punchers, and you're going to see with that amount of fight, they're in the 80s, 90s. Stop it. Don't do it to yourself like that. Go look at the records of power punchers and answer the question for yourself. Y'all like, 50%? Y'all bragging about 50%, bro? That's a low knockout percentage. Pee-wee, Bivol will finish Crawford. But I already told you, Pee-wee, that makes sense to you because you don't know shit about boxing. Top 87 corny board. Remember what Canelo done to Billy Joe. What Canelo done to Billy Joe has absolute... Billy Joe is no Terence Crawford, my guy. So then I remember what Bivol did to Canelo. You see? Remember what Floyd did to Canelo. Nobody did that to Crawford. See? So I'm bringing that up to show you there's no point, my people. Y'all got to stop using other fighters to try to speculate what's going to happen in this fight. Billy Joe Saunders is no Terence Crawford. Like, how could you even make that comparison? That shouldn't even come up. Leo, Leonardo Rodriguez, bro, get out of here. And you know boxing. I know boxing, and I'm telling you, Crawford gonna whoop that ass. And look, that's an opinion. That's an opinion. But I'm formulating my opinion based on information, not based on just being a fan and I like this guy better and I don't like that guy. Mr. Cayo, y'all saying it as if he a one-punch KO guy. Ozzy, I don't think he getting stoppages means having power, bro. Wait a minute, my guy. Wait a minute. Wait a minute, my guy. Historically, power has been measured by stoppages. That is historic. If you go back to all the power punches of all time, what's highlighted is their high knockout percentage. If you look at Mike Tyson, if you look at David Tor, if you look at Deontay Wilder, if you look at Fury, well, not so much Fury, but all the guys who are known like as the hardest punchers in their era, they have a high knockout percentage, my brother. You listen, you will not find in history a single power puncher that's known for being a power puncher with a 50% knockout percentage. Bro, I'm a historian. I'm not just talking out my ass. I'm not just making shit up out of thin air. I challenge you to name one fighter, just one fighter, who had a knockout percentage of 50% or less and was considered a power puncher. Tell me just one name. I challenge you, my brother. 50% knockout percentage. That's not considered a power puncher at all. That's a decent knockout percentage. You knocked out half of your opponents. It's not a high knockout percentage. Ozzy, he has enough power to make people think. That's a fact. That's true. That I agree with. So did Floyd. So did Floyd. He had enough power to make you think, to break your nose, bust your lips, have your eyes swollen. And those shots, they sting, they hurt. So yeah, Bivol has the power, the pop to make you think. But he's not knocking people out. Last 10 fights knocked out one opponent. That tells you all right there. So you're telling me that Bivol has the power to make you think? But Terence Bud Crawford, who has more knockouts than Bivol has fights, he's not going to make you think. He's not going to have the power to make Canelo think. Let that sizzle in your spirit, my peoples. Terence Crawford is not going to have the power to make Canelo think about it. Canelo's just going to walk right in the front door like he's going in his living room and he's just going to pummel him. I don't understand it. Why people think that Canelo is this big giant that's going to walk down the little guy and beat him up. I don't even understand that. And then we watch them face off against each other and they look about the same size. Right there, you should know that it's not what y'all thought it was going to be. Right there, you should be like, damn, I didn't think it was going to be like this. Crawford looked big as hell in front of Canelo. Canelo does not look like a giant like we thought. John Parham, as a huge Canelo fan, if Canelo win, it still won't be because he beat the shit out of Crawford. I feel you, John Parham, and salute, my brother. Appreciate you dropping in. Look, I'm going to tell you like this. I got Crawford winning. Anything can happen in boxing. We know that. Especially you got two great fighters, pound for pound guys. I feel like it's going to be a competitive fight. It's going to be, filled with fireworks. They're both going to have their moment. They're both going to win rounds. And ultimately, Crawford is going to pull away with the better footwork, with the longer jab, with the longer reach, with the angles, with the counter punching. So up until like the 8th, the 9th round is gonna be very close, very evenly on the scorecards. And then for those championship rounds, I see Crawford pulling away. By that point, he's already been able to figure out Canelo, get the timing on him, get that distance going, and that's it. Look, at times, remember that I told you this, my peoples. There's gonna be times in this fight where Crawford is actually gonna make it look easy. Where once again, Canelo's gonna be made to look bad. And when Crawford wins by unanimous decision, the same people that are saying that Canelo's gonna destroy him, y'all gonna go to excuses mode. Y'all gonna go into, well, Canelo didn't look the same, and Canelo, I don't know, maybe he's something personal going on, and all the excuses are gonna show up, my peoples. We already seen somebody in this live saying, yo, I don't know, Canelo's diminished. So the excuses already started. Abel Gallo Morales, no way Crawford pulls it off. I got Crawford winning by unanimous decision, my guy. Remember that I told you that. Tejan, Pee-wee, Madrimov is completely different stylistic fighter. And watch that last round again. That's the thing, Tejan, that I be trying to tell people. Madrimov got that European style where he's, constantly feigning. And it's not just Madrimov style, it's Crawford. He's not going to fight Canelo the same way that he fought Madrimov. That's what people don't understand. They bring up other fights that are actually irrelevant with regards to what's going to happen in this one. That's like some casual fan shit. Like, oh, but what happened with that fight? You don't know shit about boxing. That's why you say that. Mr. Cayo, point is, Troy, he don't have to hurt Canelo to beat him. That's what I've been trying to say to people, Mr. Cayo. The two fighters who beat Canelo did not have to hurt him. Why does Crawford? He doesn't have to. We've already seen it twice. We already know. You don't have to hurt Canelo. You just have to outbox him. Troy McRae, I got Crawford by unanimous decision. That's what I got too, my guy. John Parham, Chris, I can see that being an issue. Cow 27, weight classes made for a reason. So Cow 27, I'm going to give you a response. Weight classes are made for a reason does not apply to this fight. But you don't have the understanding of boxing to know that. So you think it always apply. Oh, multiple divisions, weight classes for a reason. You throw that label on any time there's somebody moving up like that. Weight classes for a reason. I'm going to explain to you, my brother, why weight classes for a reason does not apply to this fight. Weight classes for a reason applies because a small guy should not be fighting a much bigger guy. Right? So, for example, a lightweight cannot fight a heavyweight. There's weight classes for a reason. That statement, my brother, does not apply to fighters that are fighting close to each other's weight and they're similar in size. Terence Crawford is a bit taller than Canelo Alvarez, and he also has longer reach than Canelo Alvarez. And then he's been walking around weighing over 180 pounds. When Canelo Alvarez was fighting at 168, Crawford was walking around weighing 185 pounds, which tells you that physically, Crawford was almost 20 pounds heavier than Canelo. And not a fat 20 pounds heavier, a muscle 20 pounds heavier. Crawford bulked up to 185. If you've seen him in the gym, then you know that the guy is ripped. Diesel. So what I'm trying to tell you, the weight class for a reason don't even apply to this fight, my brother. Did you not see Crawford and Canelo go face-to-face with each other? They already did it twice for the press conferences. Did Canelo look mad big in front of Crawford? Did he look like a giant in front of Crawford? When they looking eye to eye, and Canelo slick-ass wore platform shoes to the second presser so he could look Crawford eye to eye? Come on now. Weight classes for a reason doesn't apply to a fight where both guys is the same size, my brother. Look at the presser. Weight classes for a reason doesn't apply here. But people who don't understand what that really means apply it to anything. Oh, look, he's moving up 2 divisions. His weight class for a reason. Meanwhile, Terence Crawford weighing 185 pounds, while Canelo was weighing 168. So the weight class is for a reason. Drop that argument, my brother. That's because of lack of understanding. That's not going to apply in this fight. Strength and power is not going to be a factor like y'all think it's going to be. It's not. It's going to go the distance. Mr. Cayo and Floyd have brittle hands and still put the beats on Canelo. Chris Fonton, John Fax, Canelo got bad feet. That's what I'm saying. I feel like Crawford will be able to get ahead on the scorecards, and he's going to be able to use that footwork in the championship rounds to keep Canelo guessing and keep putting hands on him. That's what I tell you, man. That whole narrative about Crawford running, about a smaller ring, that's just them playing mind games to try to get in Crawford's head and try to make him be more aggressive than what he has to be. Try to make him make mistakes. That's it. Even Canelo might not believe that he could outbox Crawford. Because if he believed he could outbox him, he wouldn't be asking for a smaller ring. He wouldn't be telling Crawford, don't run. So I think even Canelo might feel like, damn, I got to knock this guy out to beat him. I'm not going to outbox him. John Parrow, Canelo best chin in boxing, so Crawford will have to work angles and body to wear him down with footwork, getting in and out. I think that's exactly what we're going to see from Crawford. And he's going to be switching stance. I think he's going to start this fight off as an orthodox. And then shortly after switch to a southpaw. But let's see. Let's see how he's going to do that. Mr. Cayo, like Buzz said, he going to send y'all home crying. A lot of people going to be crying, man. Especially those that say Canelo's going to wash him. Canelo's going to wash him in 4 or 5 rounds. Like, that's crazy. Edward Ash. That's cruiserweight division, right? 168? Nah. 168 is... What's 168, my peoples? Cruise? Nah, that's... Is it... Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. What weight division, my people? Somebody put it in the comments. Man, fuck it. I'm going to Google it. I think that... Nah, that's middleweight. That's not cruiserweight. That's either middleweight or super... Hold on. I think that's super middleweight. Well, somebody Google it and put it in the comments, man. I don't want to... I could have looked for it on this phone, but fuck it. He's 168. We know he's 168 pounds. DJ Smiley Taylor. Crawford is not Caleb Plant, and he's not Charlo, who was afraid of Canelo. Yeah, listen, Charlo, I was real disappointed with the way that he fought because it's like he was there to survive. He wasn't there to win that fight, my people. Charlo was there to survive, to say I went the distance, I went 12 rounds, to get the moral victory, but he wasn't there to fight. And Berlanga, too. They embarrassed themselves. Banks OZ. Crawford is a great 42-0, but he's not doing shit against Cinnamon Boy. He's going to be 43-0 after Canelo. Abel Gallo Morales. Canelo is a smaller than beating bigger man, while Crawford is bigger man who only beats smaller men. Abel Gallo Morales. I don't know how you can say that when Errol Spence was supposed to be Crawford because he was a lot bigger than him. And Crawford stopped him. Madrimov is bigger than Crawford. Matter of fact, my brother, you made that shit up out of thin air. Crawford is for a bunch of opponents that are bigger than him. I don't know what you're talking about. Crawford is a big guy. Crawford is a big guy fighting small guys? Bro, either you don't follow Crawford's career or you don't like him. Crawford is a guy who moved up from the 135 division, dude. Crawford, actually from the 130 division. Bro, Crawford moved up from the 130 division. From the 130 division. And it's a reigning champion at 154. And it's challenging at 168. And you talking about he's a bigger dude? Fighting smaller guys? You don't know shit about boxing. You got me convinced. You got me convinced. Banks OZ, Canelo knows he's got this. Canelo knows he's going to get his ass whooped. That's why he needed a career payday type of money. Mr. Cayo, 42-0. Banks OZ, Canelo is not worried about Crawford. Not worried about Crawford. Shit. You're going to find out. John Parent, one positive also is Crawford feel very confident. I mean, they both feel super confident. You see Canelo saying that Crawford's definitely not going to beat him. Crawford saying the same thing. And that's a plus. You know, when two guys feel confident going into the fight, you know you're going to get that action, that real action. Leonardo Rodriguez, everyone can handle Canelo power till they get hit. Then it's track season. I don't know what you're talking about. It wasn't track season for Floyd Mayweather and Dimitri Bivol, but have at it. Don't say everyone, my brother, because when you say the word everyone, it's an exaggeration. You know Canelo got his ass whooped twice. Stop saying everyone. And it wasn't track season with Triple G either. Stop exaggerating, my guy. Banks OZ, Canelo is not Errol Spence. Pee-wee. He's going to be running. Yeah, he's never ran his whole career, but now he's going to be running. Come on, man. How much boxing do you know? You never seen Crawford running, but now, for the most important fight of his career, he's going to run. Make that make sense. Chris Fontaine, Canelo don't need to be Spence to get beat up. Of course he doesn't. He already got beat up as Canelo. Troy McRae, super middleweight. There you have it. Somebody was asking about the name of the 168 weight class. It's super middleweight, not cruiserweight. Banks OZ, Crawford about to take his first draw or L. You're going to be disappointed, my brother. I try to tell you. Crawford's going to beat that ass. Leonardo Rodriguez, el que sabe boxeo. Sabemos un poquito, hermanito mío. Mr. Cayo, Ozzy, on God, Banks OZ, could be a draw. So I tell you what, man, Crawford and Canelo is, you know, they're both such great fighters that it could be a draw. You know, it could be. And we already know that there's a rematch in play. There's a rematch in the contract. So whether it's a draw or a tough competitive fight or a split decision, let's say, we know we're getting a rematch. Even if it's by unanimous decision. Crawford is going to win by unanimous decision. They're going to do the rematch. Crawford is going to beat him again. And maybe they both retire. Super middleweight. Appreciate it. LY12 and Mr. Cayo, super middleweight. Appreciate it, my peoples. DJ Smiley. You're in for a rude awakening, my guy. Yo, you're in for the same rude awakening that you got when Crawford pummeled Spence. Because I know you had Errol Spence beating Crawford. And now you're probably going to say, no, I knew Crawford was going to beat him because that's what y'all all did. Every Errol Spence fan or Crawford hater who said Errol Spence was going to knock Crawford out, when the fight was over, now y'all all knew Crawford was going to beat Errol. You all knew it. So the same disillusionment, disappointment, hurt feeling that you felt when Bud whooped Errol, that's what you're going to feel when he does it to Canelo. You're going to feel the same feeling. Trevor Maynard, Canelo gasses out in late rounds. I mean, I will say Canelo, he hasn't been consistent in late rounds. There's been fights that he gassed out, and there have been fights where he hasn't. Where he caught that second win and you saw him letting the hands fly in the 11th to 12th rounds. So I believe that he's going to be in great shape for this fight. He know that this is the fight of his life. He know how big this win would be for him. And I don't think conditioning is going to be an issue for this fight. I think Canelo is going to come, in the best shape of his life. Jesse Richardson, super middleweight. I appreciate it, my brother. DJ Smiley Taylor. He was there for the money. I'm not sure who you're talking about. Mr. Cayo, neither did Skull come to fight. Yeah, Skull, Berlanga, Charlo, they was there for a paycheck. That was it. Charlo and Berlanga was there for that payday. That's facts. Now that we have it, I think Tank versus Shakur is bigger than. Well, Tank versus Shakur, it can't be bigger than, because the fight that we might never even get. We already know Tank is ducking Shakur. Tank doesn't want that action. So we might never get that fight. So it's not bigger when it's not even in the radar of happening. Right now, the biggest fight in boxing is Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez. The biggest fight in boxing. And I will tell you what, if right now Shakur Stevenson and Tank Davis was a sign that they're gonna fight, that fight won't be bigger than Canelo versus Crawford. If they were both fighting like weekends apart, Shakur versus Tank is not gonna be bigger than Canelo versus Crawford. You know why? Because I know Tank has a big fan base. Tank is a very popular fighter, but yo, Tank's fan base is little compared to Canelo's fan base. It's not even comparable. You know, Tank is a little fish in Canelo's big ocean. But we have to understand that. So if Canelo and Tank are fighting on the same weekend or weekends apart, Canelo's gonna get a lot more attention than Tank. That's a fact. That like we could just look at the numbers. We could just look at the numbers. And they're both gonna have a great dance partner. But you gotta remember, if anything, Shakur get a lot of hate. People say that he's boring, that he's run, so Tank is gonna fight a fighter that people get a lot of hate because they say that he's boring. Canelo's gonna fight a fighter who's been explosive, exciting his entire career. So if right now Shakur and Tank was a sign of fight, it would not be bigger than Canelo versus Bud. Canelo versus Bud is the biggest fight. Canelo's the face of boxing, my peoples. And he's being challenged by a 2-division undisputed champion who's moving up 3 divisions. The American versus the Mexican. The African-American fighter versus the Mexican fighter. You know how much history there's behind that? On Netflix, too. That's it. There's nothing bigger than Canelo versus Bud in boxing right now. There's nothing bigger. But Shakur versus Tank Davis, if it gets made, it's going to be a huge fight. After Tank and Canelo fight, Shakur versus Tank is the next biggest fight in boxing. Mr. Kyle, Bud going to take advantage of that not worried about it energy from Canelo. Y'all going to see. John Parham. Tima, it's not their style. Javier Hernandez. Una vergüenza, tendría que estar en 160 libras o alguna más, no 168. No, mi hermano, que usted... Canelo es un 168 chiquito. Canelo es un hombre chiquito, mi hermano. Si usted no lo vio ayer, cuando ellos se paran frente a frente, esa gente son del mismo tamaño. Esa idea de que Canelo es grandísimo y Crawford es chiquito, esa idea, suelta esa idea. Son la gente que no sabe ni mierda de boxeo. Esa gente son del mismo tamaño. Crawford and Canelo are about the same size. We already saw them facing off each other. There's no need to even talk about weight classes for a reason anymore. John Parham, let's stop ducking the likes. Yeah, man, yo, people be making it difficult, yo. It's like, I be having to work. Like, yo, I'm been here with y'all for an hour and a half already. Over an hour and a half, yo. 14 likes, man. They be killing me. Javier Hernández, Crawford perderá. Te vas a sentir decepcionado cuando le metan la mano a Crawford, manito. You're gonna be disappointed, my guy. Banks OZ, Canelo has great head movement and defense. So let me respond to that, Banks OZ. Look at Canelo's last 5-6 fights. If you look at Canelo's last 6 fights, what you're gonna see is that movement, that waist movement that he used to have is not there no more like he used to, my brother. Canelo's taking per fight. He's taking a lot more punches than what he used to. Taking a lot. So that movement, I can tell you right now, what Canelo has at the most elite level is his punching. His punching speed, his punching power, punching placement. He on point when it comes to that. But I'm telling you, when it comes to the head movement, he's getting hit a lot more than he used to. When it comes to All you gotta do is watch. Watch his fights, my people. And Canelo, when he's facing guys who trade with him, before you used to see a Canelo that make you miss and make you pay. Pop, 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 pop. But now you see Canelo, boom, boom, taking shots before making you pay. He takes a lot more punches these days. So don't focus on the Canelo Alvarez that we could find in highlight videos that he's slipping punches like crazy. These days, Canelo don't slip punches like that. If anything, he blocks. He blocks a lot more punches. He holds that high guard. But he not, yo, his defense is not like that these days. Banks OZ, Floyd and Canelo was a long time ago, 14 years ago. Okay, how about Floyd and Dimitri Bivol? That wasn't a long time ago. Got outboxed. Easy. Easy work. Ozzy, kinda cool how fluent you are in Spanish. Oh yeah, my brother. My Spanish, I'm Dominican, my guy. I'm Dominican. So my Spanish is on point. Look at this. Javier Hernández. Canelo sí es un 168, Crawford no. Javier, te voy a enseñar que tú estás hablando basura, manito. Canelo empezó su carrera en las 147 libras y se hizo campeón fue en las 154 y después subió a 160 y después subió a 168. Canelo un tigre chiquito en las 168, hermanito mío. ¿Tú no has visto que toda la gente que él pelea en esa libra son más grandes que él? Toditos son más grandes que él, hermanito. Canelo un tipo chiquito, hermano mío. Él no es grande. So for those of you who don't speak Spanish, I'm just saying, Canelo a small dude. Javier Hernandez Heredia is saying that Canelo's a real 168 pounder. And I'm telling him, my brother, Canelo started his career at 147. He became a champion at 154. Then he moved to 160. Then he moved to 168. He's little. He a small 168 pounder. He's not a big dude. Why people think Canelo's big, I don't know. Fabian Salgado, you are telling you the truth. We will see. We're going to find out, my people. We're going to find out. But I try to tell ya, the sooner you understand Crawford is going to whoop that ass, the less painful it's going to be for you. I'm trying to cause you relief so you won't feel the pain of watching Canelo get his ass whooped. I'm trying to cause you relief. Fabian Salgado, just everyone, if you guys listen to this fool, he's saying some wrong shit. You're going to find out. You're going to find out. Ozzy, you could do some commentary for boxing matches in both Spanish and English. Honestly, I don't think I could do commentary in English because, you know, you describing punches, you describing the action. And I tried to do it once in Spanish, and I was stumbling a lot with my words because I didn't know exactly. Because, you know, you use a lot of phrases, right? Like, oh, he's getting pummeled out there. But I don't know how to say pummeled in Spanish. So, for me to do commentary in Spanish, I would have to start practicing and shit. I would have to take some time practicing, really learn a lot of the phrases and a lot of the words that you can use. So I'm not ready for that type of action just yet. John Parham, Fabian, respectfully, chill on the full word. Yeah, my brother. You don't got to come up in here disrespecting people, man. Nobody disrespecting you, my guy. We over here talking boxing, sharing opinion. You could agree or you could disagree. I'm okay with you disagreeing. Banks, the two that outbox him would beat Crawford now. But that's your opinion. You don't know that. It's all about speculation. What we do know for a fact, and it's not opinion, is that Canelo got his ass whooped. That's not an opinion. We know that. Got his ass whooped. Now, you think that they will beat Crawford? That's your opinion. You can speculate, but Canelo getting his ass whooped, that's not speculation. We saw it happen. Got made to look like a average Joe. Fabian Salgado, hey, block me if you don't like me because I'm telling the true story. You telling the true story? What true story are you talking about? You saying that I don't know boxing. What? That's your opinion. That's not a true story. What are you like? What are you talking about? You know, you're talking about, oh, you're a fool. Like, don't call people a fool because they have a different opinion than you, my brother. That makes you sound ignorant. Having a different opinion than yours doesn't make somebody a fool. We just have a different opinion, my guy. That's it. Javier Hernández. Y en los primeros le dará calle Crawford. No, manito, tú no sabes lo que tú estás hablando. Fabian Salgado, have you seen Crawford and Terence at the start and fight since they started? Crawford and Terence. I don't know what you mean by that. That's the same fighter. Banks OZ Gamboa with his damn shoe half off. My boy, Gamboa fought Crawford over 10 years ago, and y'all still bringing that shit up. That's embarrassing. The fact that Crawford has 40 something wins, and you bringing up Gamboa from over 10 years ago, clinging on to Gamboa for dear life. That's embarrassing, bro. Like, goddamn, y'all still bringing up Gamboa. Stop. Pee Wee, Crawford has fought nobody. You don't know shit about boxing. Respectfully, I got love for you, Pee Wee, but you don't know shit about boxing. There's people who don't know shit about boxing who say stuff like that. Since you don't know no better, you really believe that. Good morning, little.
Me picó aquí, un moquito.
Un moquito te picó.
Sí, porque yo prendí el abanico
Oh.
cuando los moquitos se vayan.
You want to say good morning to the people? You're not going to say good morning?
Un morning.
Hey, you go give me a hug.
Los videos hagan pelea.
Sí. Hold on. Let me say goodbye to the people. Let me finish. More. ¿Tú lo puedes llevar?
¿Qué pasó? Que si yo lo puedo
Sí.
llevar.
Si tú no puedes, dime, more, para yo. Si tú no puedes, dime, mi amor.
Yo lo voy a llevar,
Tú sabes.
que yo lo voy a llevar.
Está bien. My peoples, give me a second. Hold on. Mr. Cayo. Morning, young champ. You already know it. Ryan is in the building. My peoples, I'm about to end this live. Gotta take my son to school. Y'all know what it is. I gotta be a daddy. Before I get out of here, I want to give a salute, a shout out to everybody who tuned in this morning. You know, this morning's live was lit. I appreciate you guys coming through, talk boxing. Don't forget to hit that like button, man. Y'all did me wrong, man. I was with y'all for almost 2 hours. I got 20 likes. 20 likes in 2 hours. God damn, what I gotta do? But I really appreciate you guys coming through, talking boxing with me. Later today, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, we're going to be live. And by the way, yes, Ryan? The mosquito got you? Okay, let me say goodbye to the people. My son want to spend a little quality time. So my peoples, again, shout out to everybody who came through. Don't forget to hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe. And of course, tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, we're gonna link up and we're gonna talk this boxing shit, my peoples. Y'all already know. Yo, salute, bam, peace. One love to everybody, my peoples. I'm out of here. Y'all already know what it is. I'm Jay Smith. This is Box Center. This is your favorite boxers. Favorite boxing show. Bam.